Hi and welcome to this tutorial on how to clean up an experimental data file using MCalibration. So in this case, I received an experimental data file. You can see it here as a CSV file, and it contains a lot of information that needs to be cleaned up in order for it to be useful for material model calibration. So there's a lot of different columns. Some of them have information that we don't need, and it's a pretty long file as well. So let's see how we can clean this up using MCalibration. So first, let's start the application. And then I go to the Data tab. And I'll maximize my window and read in this file that we received. So load data file. And here it is. I say open. And this reads in this data file right into this table on the left here. You can clean up these files using Excel or some other spreadsheet program if you like, but many of the features that you need to follow here, the steps you need to follow, are much easier to do using MCalibration actually. So let's see how we do it. The first thing we notice that there are 10,000 rows of data, so 10,000 data points, way more than we need. There's some stuff in here that we clearly don't need for this information that we're looking for. This happened to be a monotonic compression test at some kind of strain rate. And the first thing I do is I get rid of some of the data that I clearly am not going to need. So I don't need the voltage control output. I don't need these columns. The position, that's the crosshead position. I don't need that. The load, I don't need. Now there's the time, some strain and stress. That's really all that I need. So I've selected these columns. I'm going to right click there and say remove selected columns. And that removes the data for us. And the next thing I'll do is I will rename these to have titles, the columns to have titles that correspond to the names that MCalibration use. So this is an engineering strain. So I'm going to rename that to engineering strain. And this is engineering stress, so I'm going to call this engineering stress. So here's now the data, and I can plot the data down here by clicking engineering strain versus engineering stress. You see that this is a very substantial compression and then some kind of unloading. It's a kind of interesting, somewhat odd data set, perhaps. So let's take a look at time versus strain again. We need to do a lot of cleanup here. We see that the first data point is not starting from 0 time. So clearly we can just shift the time to start from 0. The strain we can also shift to start from 0, but the stress is not 0 as well. So we need to somehow clean that up. But when we look at the strain versus time plot here, we see that initially the strain goes up and then it jumps. So this was some kind of preload or something like that that must have been applied to this specimen. Somewhat unfortunate, that's not something I typically recommend. If we plot time versus stress by going to this one here, we'll see if the stress has the same issue. The stress here, see if we can zoom in, is very low until over here. So I go back to the strain, we'll see when is this shift occurring. It's about 22 seconds into it. So I think we need to truncate the data here, or get rid of the initial data and say this is the start of our test. So the way to do that, I'll just turn on data symbols. I zoom in here and I say this is my first row of actual information. So in my table, I click on the row before that. I Control-Shift-Up arrow to select everything above it, and then I click on the delete key on my keyboard, and that just truncates that data from this. Now I can shift the time and the strain columns to the left by selecting them and making them start from 0 by subtracting the first value. And then I can plot strain versus stress. We'll see what it looks like. The stress is still not 0 here, even though the strain is 0. You clearly can't have a stress if there is no strain, unless you have some kind of residual strain, but that's not what we are looking for here. So we're going to have to fix this data. And we see that's a little bit noisy too if you zoom into it. So the next thing I will do is I will reduce the number of data points from 8,000 down to something more manageable. We don't need so many data points in this text file in this data file. So I can quickly reduce the number of data points by change number of data points. How many do we like? It doesn't really matter, but maybe 1,000. We basically want to reproduce this curve with little line segments in a nice way, and we don't want to have too few of them. 1,000 seems like better than 8,000 at least. Then I can zoom in again and see what it looks like. Now, here's the data. Sometimes you want to smooth the data. In this case, the data is relatively smooth. There is no need to smooth the data or clean it up. I think the noise is pretty small, but it doesn't start from 0. So I want to really extrapolate backwards here with a straight line until it hits the 0 point in stress, and then I will shift it to the left, basically towing correct this data set. And I can do that in one step here by right-clicking anywhere in the table on the left and say towing compensate first point. That adds one more point here and it shifts it to origin, and now my data starts from 0 times, 0 strain, and 0 stress. And that's really what I needed in order to use this data properly. And I think that's pretty much it here. If I plot time versus stress, you see there's some interesting relaxation going on there perhaps. But the key here is that we have data that we can start working with. And I see one more thing. This is important, right? When you work with experimental data, you have to pay a lot of attention. You see now that the strains are negative, but the stresses are positive. This is a compressive stress, a compression test. So clearly, these stress values should be negative. So how do we fix that? Well, we can multiply all of those values by -1. That will change their sign, and here it goes. Anything else I missed? I'm looking at it and it looks pretty good to me. I think we are good to use this data. The next step I will do is I will save this file, because we haven't saved anything here. And I save this file that we have created now as a different name and say T009 corrected.txt. So we have it in case we need to go back to it. I will also click on calibrate. And I can add it here using the add load case. But there is a shortcut. If I have a data in the table, I can just create load case from here by clicking on this button that reads in this file and assigns the properties to it, and I can save it. And here's my data. And I'm ready now to calibrate them all to it. So that's all that I wanted to show in this short tutorial on how to clean up experimental data using MCalibration. There are many more features that I will cover in another tutorial, but this is all for our little introduction. Thank you.